What's up? What's up? How we doing? How we... How you doing? Tina... Mr... When I see anybody do the things you do before, hey, hey, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey, hey. Day smoking, day smoking, day smoking, oh, oh, oh. Timmy, what's going on? Stuff and such. Alrighty. Let's see what I got here. NVTS. This daily is not going away. It's still got the NVIDIA news. On this day here, 29th into 30th, was these two pullback days, and it seems like it's kind of tied to NVIDIA given the news that's had, because since then it's been a couple grind days. And NVTS still some relative strength versus NVIDIA today, if you look at it intraday. But still, all in all, like big picture trend is still fairly similar. Ideally, what I would like to see is a break and hold, but within this 750 to 690. If it can consolidate for a day or two in this little channel. That's where most of the volume was traded. It was 690 and below. So once it's over 690, it probably retests that 750. I think odds are. But given that it is straight up from 5, I don't love buying that breakout into straight up strength. So I did not expect this to bounce that easily. That 610 resistance looked pretty solid, and it's definitely heading higher. LVWR, same kind of thing. I compared that to Hertz yesterday, and stronger than I expected. So really nice move here. Next to no volume. Unfortunately, trading the pattern that I know is this breakout here. And for some reason, this move couldn't have happened the next day. It needed to consolidate and move on far less volume, which makes no sense to me. But this push consolidation and afternoon perk looks like much stronger price action than a straight up spike through the breakout level, and somehow that's the one that continues higher. Makes no sense to me. Bank of America came out with a note here in pre-market saying that the odds are pretty high that Robinhood gets added to the S&P 500, I believe. That was the reason for this spike. Mod V, I traded this one. I covered it. If I zoom right here. Parabolic, all green candles, first red candle with some sped up volume. If you're not looking at this volume, that high a day volume looked like a lot, like that right there. You can see like the bars start getting bigger and volume really starts to pick up. And I had a line in the 270s right there, which was prior resistance that became support. Felt like it was a decent congestion area. It topped out. Excuse me. Something in my throat. It topped out right into it on some sort of speed up, so I was short, risking the highs. Ran my stops. Small loss, because risk can be pretty tight on these parabolics, but was literally 2 minutes early before got the move I was looking for. But it is what it is. I took this one off. It was gapping down. Took a loss on that one. Did continue higher throughout the day, but the volume was gone. Technically, it is still setting up through that 230s. Maybe this is similar to LVWR, where the breakout day that I'm playing needs a day or two of consol, and then it breaks out. So I will give Ion one more attempt for this 230 break, maybe sends it to 3, and just see if it wants to re-break on lighter volume. It's holding up okay. I wouldn't want to see it back under 2, but I will give it one more attempt. I took it off open just because there was only a few thousand shares on the bid at $2, and the 201, 202 was only showing like 400, 700 shares. So I knew that if it was going to break those levels, I was going to have some liquidity issues trying to hit stops. So once I saw the $2 wall come in of like a bunch of like multi-thousands on the bid, I just hit it in the 201, 202. And just got the liquidity where I knew it was, because if that broke 2, I think I would have gotten slipped pretty bad. So I just chose to play it safe. But like I say, it's still holding up. I'll give it another shot. CoreWeave had a pullback this morning and then held trend. I wanted the low a day to be a bit closer to open. It did hang around for about half an hour. I would have preferred for this to be the low, like a couple minutes off open, and then just reclaim. But all in all, it is still going higher. Ideally, it continues. Volume is still continuing. Daily bar got a bit smaller, so not quite speed up. So I would not short this tomorrow. I would definitely need it higher because we haven't had that capitulation move. You can see the volume, definitely some sell side bias there, volume wise off the open. But yeah, wasn't quite extended enough. Definitely needed it higher. MCTR, same story that's been happening on these first red days, where the if you're shorting like an opening range breakdown or a trend fail, it stops you out before actually coming back in. These first red days haven't been the best for me, as they have been in the past. Like past as in years, but in the recent months, they haven't been extremely profitable. They've held on until like that 11 a.m. plus window and kind of squeezed shorts out steadily. You can see that that pattern happen over and over on these live streams. I've gone over a few of those charts. And like a typical entry for me on these is let it settle low, short the opening range lows and risk versus highs. And I kept getting stopped or ground back on. And this one did go quite a bit higher from like a 38 entry. It did go up to 54 before hitting 15. So tons of meat on the bone, but just on a different time frame, not typically what was happening. But once it broke down here, you get this retest of prior support as like a little failed fall through spot. Really nice move. Nice pullback. Unfortunately, now it's gapping up from 16 to 24, $8 a share. It's already up 50% in after hours from prior day's close. So I doubt this is going to be playable for a backside bounce. Kind of like BMGL, where you have that massive red day and I'm looking for that bounce, but it just gaps up too much. This one was only up like 15% at open, but this one's up like 50%. Otherwise, I think that bounce odds back up to like 30 was definitely in the cards, but does not look very favorable right now. APLD, really nice move. Multi-day runner. Really nice move. Gapping up quite a bit here in after hours. Depending what the news is on this, could be worth a short watch. On June 2nd, 250 megawatt data center lease with CoreWeave. Digital taps 7 billion in CoreWeave leases, so it's tied to CoreWeave. So if I'm not looking to short CoreWeave tomorrow, and ideally waiting till Friday, then I should probably wait on this one to short on Friday. Some nice range for sure. Breakout there through 11s, which would kind of gauge that extension. Be through like 11-ish. Yes, it's up from 7, but it broke out at 11. Hoth. This one here is running into prior resistance. Big volume day, closing view app, 255. We're at 170 right now. You got a ton of volume up there at 320. So if that thing can get going up to those 250s, we will see. What was the news on that thing today? A chat room bought it at 12:30. No way. Wow, it was just a chat room buy. There was no news on this thing. That's insane. And that's the only reason it's up. It should round trip at some point. Just a matter of how high they're going to push it beforehand. Ideally, it goes 2+. Buru. This little breakout here is looking not too shabby. Yeah, we've got this volume day. This resistance broke through it, retraced on day one. Now it's starting to come back. So far failed today into close. Let's see if it can come back and re-break through that 50-cent level. MULN. Ton of shorts got popped on this thing today. Got a few friends that lost quite a bit on this. It's been a great swing short for as far as the eye can see. It is a dilutive machine. Any news there today? Announces 5 RS launch and vehicle sales in Germany. Announced its high performance electric vehicle crossover, top speed over 200, 0 to 60 under 2 seconds, 800 volt, all wheel drive, 1100 horsepower. The market includes the European Union, South Africa, the UAE in 26. Yeah, so they just announced their SUV. Boring. Like, everybody knows this thing's not gonna hit the market. But they just did that reverse split the other day. Was it 2 days ago? On June 2nd? Yeah, it was 2 days ago. So the float is mega low. I think like 800K. I think. But once the dilution engines turn on, then should get smoked. Just trying to see on MULN what their registration statements are looking like in terms of how much dilution they still have in the pipeline, especially after their 1 for 100. If they still have shares with an anti-dilution provision and they've got like an 800K outstanding, then it would get smoked. So yeah, there's 80 million shares after the reverse split, 800,000. So what is their dilution looking like? I just kind of go by like what the history of the stock is in terms of dilution, but I'm not seeing like a bunch of their series convertibles. Their conversion price is so high, their exercise price. And then their warrants, like it looks like they've used a bunch of them. But they did offerings. What is it? Back in May. They've got warrants from May. With like 600,000 at an exercise price of 0. Let me see. Because this kind of plays. Where the heck is my button? Why can't. Oh. I'm clicking Shift F. I'm trying to Command F. Warrants. MULN did a reverse. Oh my god. MULN did a 1 for 25 reverse split on May 4th, 2023, a 1 for 9 August 2023, a 1 for 100 December 2023, a 1 for 100 on September 2024, a 1 for 60 February 2025, a 1 for 100 April 2025, and then another 1 for 100 June 2025. Oh my god. Okay, so in March 25, company issued 35 million convertible notes and warrants. Senior secured convertible notes issued pursuant to the 2024 purchase agreement, May 24, are presented in the table below, with conversion prices from 3 cents all the way up to $1.16. And there was 30 million worth, which at a 1 for 100 would be 30,000 worth, right? Right? 300,000, sorry. I missed a 0. So 300,000 worth. which those are all at a 1 for 100. Like your 3 cent ones would be at $3, your 5 cent ones would be at $5, 7 cent, $7, 8 cent would be $8. Those are the only ones really in play. It hit, what did it get to today? In the 20s, so the 21 cent ones would be in play. So there was 4 million, 10 million, 13, 13 and a half, 15, 16 and a half, 17 million, less 2 zeros is 170K on 800 is like 20%. So that's like 20% of the float that is at 21 cents and below. Those are on the convertible notes. What does an exercise price of 0 mean? So a lot of the toxically dilutive companies in small caps put anti-dilution provisions in their dilution, meaning any subsequent offerings that come out, and the language is always different for what these provisions are. A lot of times it will be in reference to like the lowest days VWAP or the lowest offering in the last 60 days, the lowest close in the last 60 days. So with MULN, for example, their notes, the conversion of the notes depends on the lowest daily volume weighted average price of the company's common stock with a floor from 3 cents to $1.16 depending on the investment. The floor is not subject to adjustment for reverse splits. So right there, the floor is not subject to adjustment for reverse splits, meaning this stock price went to 26 and that $1.16 floor for those convertible notes are still at $1.16 because they don't get adjusted for reverse splits. So basically, if you do enough reverse splits, the exercise price is never 0, but when you split something to 1 for 100th, 1 for 100th, 1 for 25th, 1 for 60th, and you start going smaller and smaller and smaller fractionally, it's basically 0. Like you're so close to 0 that that's basically what it is. So that's what it means. If the lowest daily VWAP in 5 trading days prior to March 25 was $1 or less, and the 1 for 100 made effective before March 25, the company, upon full conversion of the notes, would theoretically be liable to issue approximately 170,000 more shares. If the lowest VWAP in the 5 trading days was higher, the company would theoretically issue 100,000 more. So, what the hell is texting me? Jeez, just leave me alone. This is my me time. Leave me alone. 1 second, I'll be right back. My doggy wanted to go out. During the 6 months ended March 25, investments of 30 million of the convertible note, fair value of the warrants were 70 million. Warrants of the fair value approximately 46 million. The company issued a common stock. Remaining warrants. This is what I want. Outstanding warrants in the amount of 400,000, carrying value of 95 million as of March, were potentially exercisable for approximately 9 million common stock. Exercising warrants held for investors for 5 years. As described above, number of shares issuable on a cashless exercise price depending on the closing price in the last 2 trading days, subject to a floor of 1 cent, not adjustable to reverse splits after the warrant exchange contract. The table below discloses the sensitivity of numbers of shares theoretically issuable on exercise the warrants. So right there, it's not adjustable for reverse splits after the warrant exchange contract. And exercise price. There's floor in a cashless exercise formula after the warrant exchange. Exercise price after reverse splits. Number of remaining warrants after the April split was 400,000. Convertible into 9 million shares. Change in shares if the closing bid price was lower than $1, which it was, is now 800,000. So 800,000 would then be 10.2 million. With exercise prices, I've got a bunch at, the most is at $12. And they held it over that for a long time today. That's about half. So that would be convertible into about 4 million shares. And if they've got 800,000 outstanding right now, that's fairly dilutive. So let's see. Warrants available for investors. In March 2025, the company had 5 billion authorized shares. So that means that's how much they can have in common stock approved by shareholders. Which is just disgusting. Investments. Exercise of warrants. 8 cents, 2 cents, 5 cents, 37 cents, 15 cents. All in those convertible notes. The reverse stock split did not change the authorized number of shares or the par value of common stock, nor modify any voting rights of the common stock. so they can still dilute up to 5 billion authorized shares. Pursuant to the terms of the company's 2022 Equity and Incentive Plan, shares of common stock available for issuance are not subject to adjustment as a result of the reverse stock split. Red flag, red flags. So basically what I'm seeing is they don't have a huge ability in new offerings coming out, but it looks like their convertibles are not reverse split adjusted, and therefore it's just a matter of when they tap into it again. So based on the action today, it looks like you had a bunch of shorts waiting for pops and swing shorting these that are getting squeezed, especially with an 800K float. And what they did is they just turned off the dilution engines and just let it trade however the market wanted it to trade, and they let it squeeze shorts. So basically, when the dilution engines get turned back on, it should head right back. But we don't know when that is. So it still seems just as dilutive as ever from what I am reading there. Whether that was interesting or boring for some of you, I enjoy reading filings, so what do you think of NVTS? I believe I touched on this briefly at the beginning. It's a bit too straight up for me to want to buy the breakout. However, my bias still remains the same from this gap day. I was not interested in shorting it at all. I played this breakout day, and I think the news with NVIDIA is still very bullish. It looks like it's trading in tandem with it. It's 2 pullback days and grinding higher, and now it's couple pullback days and grinding higher. So as long as NVIDIA keeps pushing, I think this one keeps pushing. In terms of a setup that I would like is a day or two of consolidation between 750 and 690, and then get a breakout once I can have some risk levels to trust. But with it going straight up from 4 or 5 up to 7, I don't love just buying straight up spikes into resistance. So no real play on it for me right now, but I still hold the same bias that I'd like to get long this thing. So, in terms of main watches for tomorrow, Hoth, higher the better, up on a chat room pump. So need to keep that on watch. I will not share who the room is or what the name is or anything of that sort. But if you reverse engineer it, you can figure it out. And it's up on no news. And if this can get up 2+, there's enough resistance over here that I think this should round trip eventually. It doesn't really like to multi-day run. So oh, my face is covering the volume, but over here, 400 million shares there, and a ton of resistance there overhead. So higher the better. APLD has some connection to CoreWeave, and I personally would like CoreWeave to go higher, get another range expansion day on Thursday for the Friday trade into options expiry, and then I think APLD could be a sympathy play to it. So we'll keep that one on watch. MULN, looking for signs of sell pressure and dilution to kick back on. In the past, it runs for a day and then fades back off. And I know everybody got squeezed on this thing today, so I don't think the crowd is really there a whole lot in tomorrow. So ideally, it just starts to sell off like something like back on the 19th, where you get this big squeeze, fades into close, and then you just get steady lows, pops first view app, see you later. So ideally, get something like that tomorrow, and yeah, we will see. Buru, see if this can build back through 50s. That's a breakout chart. Ion, I'd give this one more shot, similar to Livewire, where it takes a couple days and then has like a better lower volume breakout than the day that actually has volume. Counterintuitive, but it's kind of working right now, so we'll see. CoreWeave, higher the better. MCTR, I think this is going to be gapping up too much. Don't want to bounce that. NVTS, I'd need some sideways. I won't chase. So, yeah. That's what I'm watching. That's what I'm watching. So, I think I will leave it there. I'll probably tag the title of this video with some filings stuff, just so if I'm ever going back, it's easier to find. But I think I can edit it. There we go. Updated the title. Alrighty, I will leave it there. That's my watch list for tomorrow. And I will see you guys in the room. Take it easy, guys. Peace.